like the new brand colors. Okay, peace to the family. We're live on YouTube and Facebook, and we're live on Apple and Spotify. So peace to the family. Um, this is your host, Brandon B. Dixon. All right, so I just got the signal. Yep. I got my guest host, Steven Contreras, in the building.
Hey guys, how you doing? You like my hair, Brandon?
It's different, man. It's different. Like I said, I'm in a different location. I'm downstairs right now. I'm setting up a dual monitor in the office, so I'll be back in the office. Oh, we might have another mascot too. I'm thinking about getting this. I'm thinking about getting these start champion breeding these toy poodles, man. So I'm thinking about getting my first one this year.
Oh, cool.
So,
Yeah, my grandparents always had poodles, man. They're cool dogs.
right, you talking about full grown, or you talking about the toys?
So their first one was a full grown one, and then they just kept these smaller throughout like the 25 years they had poodles. So like they started up with a red, tall, full leg
Right,
poodle, and then they started to the medium poodle, and then the last one was named Lucky, and he was a toy poodle.
right. I'm thinking about getting. I didn't know there was a lot of stuff into this with this champion stuff. You got to go to dog shows and all this stuff here. But I'm thinking about it. Most likely, I will. There's just a lot of responsibility. So, but me being an empty nester and stuff like that, I got a lot of time at the house. So, it kind of makes sense. Especially this year when I'm gonna be spend a lot of time at the home office on the phone. So. Let's go ahead and get into the show real quick. Again, my name is Brandon B. Dixon. I'm a published author, serial entrepreneur, mortgage broker. My book, Sales the Nucleus of Any Profession, is out right now. The second book will be out real soon. It's just being rewritten and revised, so it'll be out real soon. Um, if you like what we're doing here on the Power of Ownership podcast, go ahead, cash app us, $, the Power of Ownership. Stephen has his own cash app as well. It's Stephen C1234. Also, it's mortgage season right now. It's just about to kick off. Tomorrow's February 1st. So we have a special right now. We're giving away free appraisals. If you send us your name and email and phone number and apply and get a house before March 31st. May 31st. We're giving out free appraisals. That's $550 value. If you need any more incentive to buy with low interest rates, that's even more chum in the water for the sharks. So go to my website, www.applywithb.com. Message me, send me your information, and then we'll go from there. If you want to book me for sales consultation or sales training or anything like that, go to www.bnlloanofficer.com. That's where you can book me. Or you can call me 24/7, 832-775-8357. I'm available 24/7. Steven is Steven_Contreras. I'm trying to find it here. On my list. Yeah, there you go. _Contreras _90 on all social media. Mine is _BNL Loan Officer on all social media. And I want to say right before we get into him introducing himself, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, HoustonCondoSales.com. And I'm telling you, the site is legit. I'm in the market myself for a condo or a high rise or a townhouse. So either one, really a townhouse or a high rise. I'm probably going to do a townhouse out here in Houston. I'm probably do a high rise in Atlanta. So I'm in the market and I'm getting the notifications. I signed up myself. I get the notifications every time there's new stuff hit the market. They send it to me automatically. Boom, you can apply for a mortgage right there. It's a tight site. They curate all the best of the best condos for you. So you tell them, you put in what you're looking for and they'll find it for you. So www.houstonscondosales.com. If you're in that market for condos, that is the site to go to. It's a bomb site. Steve, go ahead and introduce yourself, and we're gonna go ahead and get started, man.
Hey guys, Steven Contreras here from Houston, Texas. I'm a geologist by trade. I'm kind of like a Renaissance man, studier of the arts and sciences, trying to spread peace and love everywhere we go. That's what the show's about. Peace, love, and positivity, and try to better ourselves each and every day. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, Brandon.
Well, Yep, that's Steve right there. And Steve's short, he's short and quick.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and get into the show. The Power of Ownership podcast, if this is your first time joining in, what we usually discuss, we talk about not only ownership of properties, that's kind of cliche, and and investment properties. We talk about ownership of businesses, we talk about ownership of intellectual property, so on and so forth. But we also dig a little bit deeper. We give you a little bit more food and a little bit more meat on the bone, so to speak. We talk about bridging the seen and the unseen realm. So we talk about how to, own the mind, body, and soul to take charge of this particular density, the third realm density. So I think you can't have, they're tethered to one another. So I think you can't have one without the other. If you don't have a quote unquote spiritual foundation, I don't think you can do well in the physical in the physical realm. So I think you need both in order to maximize your potential. And that's kind of what we talk about. This week, I want to dive into something that's been really, really festering on my mind. And I think we tapped into this a little bit on previous show, but I really want to dive into this deep this week. And I was thinking about what people say that, I have this blog called 8 All Positive Energy. And at the end of 8, my catchphrase is not what you think you are, not you say that you are, it's what you do, it's who you truly are. And that's kind of my motto in life. I look at my track record on what's the history, what can be recorded, what can be seen, what can be touched and tangible. Not for what I think in my mind, and we can project all in our mind. We could be either, Gandhi, or we could be, Stalin. It just depends on where you're at in your mind. But in your mind, but in reality, you never left your house. So what are you in reality, and who are you day to day? And some people, and this is the reason, this is the premise of it. Some people claim, religious, and I'm a decent person, but when you look at their track record, you look at what they really do, they're the wickedest of the wicked. And one of the things I don't understand is, this is more of a millennial thing, so I'll turn this over to Steve. Somebody's gonna have to make me understand trolls. I don't understand a grown person over the year of 18 years of age that gets pleasure out of arguing with people, insulting people, and just being negative all the time. So if you're negative all the time, what does that make you? If you're negative and you get pleasure out of being negative, who are you? What does that make you?
The Grinch.
So go ahead and dive into that. If you think about it, if you really get pleasure out of being negative, and that's what you do, and that's who you are, who are you then? Where did that come from? What do we call negativity?
Yeah. Negativity is a lower level chakra. It's in the root system, I believe. It's like base negativity. I think, you have positive blood and negative blood. I think it has a lot to do with that kind of connotation. Metaphorically speaking, you have your positive people and your negative people. Some people are just born negative, unfortunately. And so I think as a society, as you are raised, you start to see all the negativity in the world, and it causes more and more negativity. And so for people like myself, the millennial generation, we grew up with the TVs and the media being predominantly negative, So we have a negative connotation already in our mind that it's hard to break for most people, And so I think from here on out, the people who post memes, I think you have 2 categories, right? You have the creators of the memes, and then you have the people who post them. I think they're 2 very different sides of the equations. Some people who create the memes might do it for a profit. I'm not sure how it exactly works, but maybe they just find something funny and they want it to go viral, right? And it is a negative connotation, but that's how they get pleasure out of their negativity, is through the idea of comedy, right? It's kind of like the sad clown, right?
Right. Well, I kind of disagree with you on one point. I don't think anybody is born negative. I think they're born into negativity. I think we all a blank slate once we come back and reincarnate. I think due to your environment, you can become negative, but I think we're all created equal.
Perfect. Yeah,
You know,
perfect.
so we all, and then we're a sponge, and that's what I talked about in my epigenetics lecture, is that epigenetically, based on the environment that we're around, we become that person. We can become that negative entity, you know. So I think, you know, we have the capability to transcend everything. You know, it's all in the scriptures. You know, when you say Jesus went to the depths of hell, rose through. You know, it's all in the scriptures, all metaphorical. You know, same thing. You know, same thing with us. We were born in sin, shaped in iniquity. You know, so but at the same time, you can transcend and become that transcendent son of God.
Yeah, positive light. But I mean, what we're dealing with now, though, is like people who would rather just meme it up than deal with their issues and their actual like point in life. You know, that's where
Right,
you
right,
see, and that's where you get the idea of a troll, though, right? It's because they don't break out. They'd rather sit and gloat in their negative space. Thus, the internet allows them to portray their negativity out on the cloud per se. You know, they can create those memes. Like some of them are ruthless. I don't know if you've been watching all the memes. Some are funny, some are ruthless. You know, it just depends on who's making them. There's positive memes out there too, but I think the general idea that you're trying to grasp is that they would rather create memes and be in a meme society than actually go in and find themselves. And then if you take away the memes for the people who are trolling all the time, or you're taking away their platform like Twitter, what are they actually going to do? And like you said, who are
right.
they really?
Well,
Really?
it's, to me, not to cut you off, but it's deeper than the memes. It's deeper than the trolling. Let's look at it granular. Let's really examine it from the observer's standpoint. Okay, so you were given this gift of life to create without wilts, to be a creator. And what you chose to do with this life is look at somebody else's life and then try to spin or comment the negative or whatever you could conjure up based on your perception and at their life. So instead of living my life, I'm watching somebody else's life and trying to disrupt that person's life by putting negativity or trying to spark an argument. What type of person is that? Think about think about the mind frame of that. Like, all right, so I've been given this gift of food. Let's say I'm starving, and I knock on your door like, hey sir, I don't have anywhere to stay for the night, and you know, I need a place to rest and I need some food. You're gracious enough to go ahead and let me in for the night. So instead of, and here's a warm bed, here's a shower, and here's a big plate of food. So instead of eating my plate of food, I'm gonna go ahead and look at yours like, damn man, your plate is bigger than my plate. And actually, man, you look how you chew. You're not even chewing right. You're supposed to chew like, so instead of enjoying my plate, and man, your bed is bigger than mine. You know why are you sleeping like that? You're supposed to sleep on your. So instead of worrying about what I got and the blessings that I have, I'm trying to downgrade and I'm worried about yours.
Yeah, and the messed up thing is like you let them in your house, right?
Right. And you've been blessed to be in my house. So instead of being gracious, I'm gonna spin it and I'm gonna be negative. What type of person is that?
I would say, you know, it depends on how the person is. It could be like an egomaniac, an ego monster, you know, or just straight up. There's a word for someone who's just like a pessimist, right? Someone who's just hates that positivity, who just wants to be negative all the time.
There you go. So somebody that hates not only their life,
Hmm.
but they say hurt people.
Yeah, it's like,
I had to think about this. Hold on, I had to think about this as a teenager. Like, I used to be a big roaster. You know, I used to be in high school. I used to like roasting people. You know, going and making fun of people, and you know, all for the laugh, get everybody on my side, and get the whole classroom on the side. Everybody laugh at somebody and laugh at their imperfection and stuff like that. And on my journey to enlightenment, I really reflected on that. Like, man, that was some wicked, wicked stuff. Like, why, you know, this person knows that their nose isn't up to the quote unquote social norm. They know that their hair isn't, you know, but I'm going to point out all their flaws to the entire classroom so they can laugh at them at you know, at my, at all at their expense so I could get a cheap thrill. Wow. What type of person does that?
Yeah, it's at that point when you said before enlightenment, you know, it's a Father, forgive them because they do not know. Because most
Right.
of the time people don't know that they're in error, you know. And that's just the product of this, like you said, the society, the negativity that we're brought in, the culture that we see it on the TVs and the newspapers. People still read those, you know, or on the internet. You know, it's like what well, the product we see is what we produce. And I think that's why I think we talked about before. Facebook is a really weird space, you know, because if you have friends who just post memes all the time or are constantly negative all the time instead of spreading positivity, all you're going to see is that negativity because you're creating, because that platform itself is generating its own internet
Right.
cloud
Algorithm. Yeah.
space. Like what you see in front of you is what you get, you know. And so if you don't have that structure of friends around you in your Facebook group and all you see is negativity or just I hate using the word, but like dumb lower level mindsets, you know, then that's all you're going to get, you know, instead of
I,
branching out.
I get it. I get it. You got to have the balance. You got to have, there's the ignorance. And if you didn't have ignorance, you wouldn't know what intelligence was. If you didn't have the negative. But this show, I just want to shed light. I want to get people to look at it in a different perspective, like I did on my way to enlightenment. Like, wow, what type of person, look at it through an objective standpoint. Like, wow, what type of person does that? What type of person, you know, likes people to suffer for your pleasure? And who is the originator who done that? Where do we get this from? So you got to analyze. Damn, who am I mimicking?
Yeah, the lower self, right? It's a hard question to ask because, you know, it is I don't it's even right now it's hard to talk about like just people in general negatively, you know, because it all the words count for something, you know. And so when you're being negative and like those negative types of thoughts and those negative people, you know, where does it come from? I mean, yeah, Cain and Abel, right? The split between the
Well,
two.
even before that, I mean, if you want to go with the metaphor, with Satan, was the fallen angel or whatever. You know, his problem was that the ego. You know, I wouldn't. He said, bow to the human. He's like, I am better than he. You know, so that was the original. You know, I am better. You know, and we all won. So the fact the ego, where you feel that you're better than someone, that gives you the permission in your mind. You're it's called that deceptive intelligence. You're rationalizing your acts of downgrading someone because you feel that you're better than them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I
So
like it.
their feelings, their word doesn't matter to you because in your mind they're lower than you, which is yourself. You see, who are we mimicking when we do this stuff?
Yeah, there's a good actually Rick and Morty episode that talks about, I think in general, this idea. They go into a massage, right, a massage parlor, and they get a massage, but the massage takes out all the toxins in the body and literally pulls out another toxic form of that individual.
Right.
And all they're left is with pure bliss, but they don't know how to handle it, so they start kind of freaking out because they don't know. So they start going to look for that toxic part to merge together to be able to be whole again. But it's a really good metaphor, kind of on the subject that we're talking about. And just to go back to the point you said, deceptive intelligence. Actually, never thought about it like that. That's where they probably get the name Decepticons from Transformers, because you have the Autobots and the Decepticons. And Decepticons are always trying to rule everything. Deceptive
Right.
intelligence.
Well, that's the first deceptive intelligence, and metaphorically in the Bible was Eve when she rationalized, all right, this is what, hey, it's just an apple, So and that came in the form of the serpent, hey, it's just an apple, nothing's going to happen to you. So that's that deceptive intelligence is rationalize what you're doing, to being okay, and that's what we do in a form in a larger sense, and we lose ourselves. Before you know it, you done lost your way. This is who you become. Think about it. If you listen to my voice right now, you actually get pleasure out of being that sourpuss, out of being a negative entity, out of being sarcastic, out of being an a-hole, out of being the antagonist, what's the better word for a contrarian? Where does that come from, and why? Why am I? You got to ask yourself, why are you like that? Why do you like to go against the grain? Why do you like that? All right, if somebody believes this is they're eating his birthday cake and they're in bliss right now, why are you gonna spoil their cake and, hey man, this is full of sugar, this is gonna kill you? Let that person, and I want to, and I'm spending this because I want to get into a little bit deep, two other subjects that relate to this. One is, why do we always, as humans, we always want somebody to think like identically to how we think, and if not, we try to poison the water, we try to burn everything else up. Why isn't it wicked in itself to try to ruin that person's experience? If we all hear the experience.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, that's the idea of religion in general, projecting on people's views.
Right.
Is in a case wicked in itself. It's backwards.
Right.
So anyone who tries to do that on a human level too, that's still wicked. Everyone here. That's why the people who are awake, we don't judge.
Right.
If you want to live your life on the street, you can live your life on the street. If you want to live your life as a billionaire, you can live your life as a billionaire. It's your choice. That's
Right.
the greatest thing about here is like we get to choose, and so
Right.
so it is
our own reality.
Yeah, it is wicked, definitely, when you are trying to project your own mindset into somebody.
Right. That's for somebody to say that's the only way is the way I say. Mm-hmm. That's egotistical, and there's many ways to enlightenment. There's no one path. Yeah. Now the outcome is going to be all the same. It's going to be what you do. If what you do is positive, and it's productive and it builds, then it builds. Now, if you're trying to, we do this all the time as human beings. We got to see things one way. If you don't agree with me, then we're at odds, which is crazy, and we can't respect each other's views and just go along. Another thing I wanted to tap on as well is that I want to tap on and I had this happen this week. When did non-creativity, this is a product of what we become. When did non-creativity become the norm? So we're so far from being the creators, what we are, we're alchemists, we're creators. We're so lazy, we don't even want to create our own reality. We just want to mimic somebody else's reality.
Yeah. And, what you said right there is just so powerful, because I really don't think people understand that concept.
No, it's too far ahead.
Yeah, because it took me a long time to understand. It wasn't probably till like last year, 2 years ago, that I realized, like, even on YouTube, people who are reviewing things, people who are commenting on things, on other people's work,
Mhm.
they are creating in a sense, but they aren't the creators themselves. They're the background noise. They're the B-list actors.
Right.
They're or even the actors are the actors. I mean, they're not the writers in general. Like those are the real deal
They're
guys.
not. I want to come out with a shirt. Probably maximize your 16. And what I mean by that is maximize your 16 hours every day that you have to be productive. We
Yeah,
don't.
yeah,
And the reason why we don't, I don't know if it's laziness or whatever, but something's happening where we do not we spend our time out of that 16, probably 15 of it, probably looking at somebody else's life and watching. If you watch the NFL, you're watching other grown men at work. If you watch, Power or whatever these sitcoms, that's other people working and being productive with their lives. So you're sitting back watching and you're living intravenously. Now I can understand if you're being watching YouTube to get, like, say for example, I was learning about LLCs and doing anonymous LLCs and stuff like that. If you're learning to better and maximize your life, that's something different. But watching sitcoms and watching people joke around or people dance, unless you're a dancer, how does that improve your life? How does that improve the overall? Now I understand you got to have some form of quote unquote entertainment, but I think we have sensory, and especially in the Western part of the world, we have sensory and entertainment overload. We overdo it.
oh, for sure. I agree. I travel the world a lot, and
Right.
like I said, there's nothing like American media.
Right. We got to be entertained at all hours of the day. All 16, we got to be entertained instead of looking at it, hey, like, what can I do to maximize my 16 in order to maximize my life and take myself to, what can I do to fill the void? How can I basically BS? How can I kill some time? Look at it. Kill time. It's never coming back. It's dead. How can
Mhm.
I kill time? What about how can I build time?
Yeah. How to slow it down. It's a trick.
Or how to maximize that time.
Hmm.
So we so far we try to kill time. I got 3 hours to kill. Wow, really?
Yeah. And the idea too of just going back in general of that of time wasting it's hard, especially in the present culture to actually be efficient, like super efficient. I'd say it is up there. It could be due to laziness. It could be due to other factors. But that is a goal. 16 hours. I like that.
Maximize. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna make a shirt, man. Maximize your 16.
Hmm.
What you gonna do with your 16, man? If we got 16 hours every day to create, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna? And I got, man, the quick story. I got to tell a story. I got to put this person on blast. I already blocked this person, but real quick, this is crazy to me. But I guess it's a part of the cycle. I mean, we put up the sponsored um Friday night. I put up the sponsored meme, or should I say announcement? Hey, we're doing the appraisals for free. The very next day, somebody else has the exact same banner. I'm
It's,
like,
it's copyright, right?
it's not copyright, but it's like, wow, you can't get anything else. I'm damn near word for word. Like, really? So it's like that's how it's become. Like, I don't know what this dance that they're doing. Everybody doing the same dance. The challenge is what they call it. How about getting your own challenge? How about challenge yourself to be better instead of copying somebody else? And this is the trend. All right, I'm gonna do exactly like you do, but I'm gonna do it in a different scenery. Is this what the world's become?
Yeah,
You
well,
know,
everyone wants that shortcut, Brandon. Everyone wants the shortcut. Everyone wants to go into someone else's lane. No one knows what it's. It's like it's a lost generation. It's the generation before everything. We the transitional generation is always the ones that are the hardest because you have the geniuses and you have the not geniuses. We're all geniuses when we're born, but you get what I'm saying. It's like you have the doers and you have your don'ts, and that's in every generation. But this one is different because we merged with technology in this transition phase. We saw it go from A to where it is now, and we grew up with it. We've had the access to the world in our hands forever. And that's a blessing and a curse, because if you don't know how to use your technology and learn from it, then you're going to be sheltered and hunkered down by it.
My thing of genius is genius. I don't think we all have the capability of being geniuses, but I don't think we all are genius. Genius. Look at the word gene. It means to use your genetics to maximize your potential,
Mhm.
and tap into your genome to actually bring out the best that you can be, because it's all in your DNA. Um, what most people have done, we have shut off the genetic part of it, and now we've become almost bots, to where, all right, I see that, I like that, I can do that, let me mimic, instead of tapping in and being creative and bringing that creative force out, that tapping into that divine feminine and bringing the creativity out. We don't know about that anymore. It's become almost all masculine. I know we're in the age of Aquarius, but it's become all masculine type thing. Hey, I see, I like, I want to do. I see, I like, I want to do that. And it's
Mhm.
no creativity whatsoever. People copying, and back in my day, like, the 90s, it was almost an unwritten rule that, like, if you see somebody, or that, especially with the music, see somebody with a style, it was almost sacrilegious to copy that style. Now everybody sounds like, I can't distinguish who's who.
Yeah.
Everybody sounds exactly alike. Which kills the culture, which kills it stops us from going. Think about it. What if we all became the same, one mind, one way of thinking, one way of looking, one way of acting culture? It will soon die out.
Yeah. Because there's no creativity. You're right. It's like we're robots. It's true.
Yeah, there's no evolution at that point. We're is de-evolution at that point.
Yeah. And
You got
that's
what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the problem with technology in general, because if you think about when the most creative, like in recent times, I'm not saying old times, just in recent modern times, probably the most creative eras come from either a post-destructive world where everyone has to work together to to rebuild and recreate, or it's during Enlightenment periods like the 16 and 1700s. Those are the times of true advancement. Like you think about what happened during after World War II, or even right before World War II, that jump in creativity, just sparks of revolution and technology and like good change, not like bad revolution, like good actual human growth of progressiveness, I guess.
Well, nothing happens until you do something.
Yeah.
Nothing happens until you do something. And what happens is, if everybody jump in the same lane, this is the story of my life. I try to put myself in somebody else's shoes. Like, um, I always took risks, even before it's cool. People that know me from high school, I always listen to different type of music. Then all of a sudden it become cool. I was listening to Kanye and Wu-Tang Clan and all that stuff, and everybody else in my neighborhood was listening to local bounce music. Then all of a sudden it became cool. Kanye is like a rock star now. Wu-Tang Clan has become the Black Beatles.
Hmm.
You know, so but I was on it. I had that ear, and I like what I like, and I never tried to follow the masses. So I wonder what turns that off in a person. All right, I don't want to. Is it fear? All right, I don't want to be, you know, a first or a trendsetter. I just want to follow the crowd. How does that happen to somebody that just want to be followers?
Yeah, it's fear. I mean, it's only 1% are chosen. Less than 1%. Everyone else is going to be a follower.
Right. That's crazy. I don't get followers. I don't get, if we're here to create our own reality, how could you follow another person? You're following his reality.
Oh yeah, that's the false idol, right? That's
Right.
the exact metaphor. Even
Thou
if
should not, it's thou should not have any other gods before me. If
yeah,
God is a verb and you're looking at somebody else doing work, that's their God. See, God is a verb. It's not something that's not the creator's name, it's something the creator does.
it's idolization is the sin. That's
Right.
what,
And you're actually mimicking someone else. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
So all of this relates to what we're talking about. Who are you really? If you're a negative person, if you're a follower, if you're a person that takes pleasure in hurting others, who does this all trace back to? All of this is opposite than what?
The growth and positivity and then power of ownership.
Right.
Opposite.
It's complete opposite. If you know, so I just wanted to put that on people now. I can ask yourself the question. Really go into people that's the audience that's listening. Really go into the meditation and really think about, man. Do you get pleasure out of hurting people? Do you get pleasure out of pissing people off? Do you get pleasure out of being that antagonist? Is that what you want to be? Some people like being a villain. Some people, and wow, think about it. I like spreading. I like spreading animosity.
Yeah. The world wouldn't be the world today if they didn't have the villains, and a lot of times people don't even realize they are the villain,
Right,
just like the gatekeepers who hold up the shadows in the cave, to keep everyone down.
right. Now I know we over a little bit, but I want to give people advice. How does this relate to business? How does this relate to your everyday life? What can you do? Everyday people, avoid these people. Recognize them for who they are. Don't. I mean, you could give certain people the benefit of the doubt, but usually, if somebody tells you who they are and shows you who they are, believe them. There's 7 something billion people on the earth. Why are you trying to fit a square peg into a round hole? Why are you trying to be cool with somebody who's not cool? If they show you who you are, move on. Who they are, move on. Why try to deal with people that's negative entities? Leave the negative entities by themselves. Blacklist them, blackball them, get away from them.
Mhm.
Now, as a business owner, you got to do a little bit more digging. Do you want? This is why I like Chick-fil-A. This is why I support Chick-fil-A, because they put their foot down and said, "I'm going to have a culture of positivity." Period. None of our employees are going to have an attitude. All of them going to have smiles. So when people come there, they know that I am at least going to get a service with a smile, and I will pay extra for that. You got to decide as a business owner: do you want your culture Chick-fil-A, or do you want McDonald's and Burger King, where they don't give a shit?
Mhm.
Where that I almost had got into a fist fight last year at rallies at Checkers because of the piss poor service. And I'll never go to rallies, Checkers again. I'll never go to TGI Fridays again. I'll never go to Chili's again. So what do you want your company to be? And it all starts with you.
Yeah.
And what you put your foot down, like, hey, listen, we're going to be positive people. So analyze yourself. What do you got to say as far as solutions? Then we get up out of here.
Yeah, I would agree. Just to piggyback off the business aspect, if you're running a company, you want to always have that positive force, that extra entity, and if you find yourself having an employee not having those positive vibes, after you hire them, you give them a little bit, right, to see if it's personal or like family issues, things like that. But if he's just a bad, great man, never be afraid to just cut
Yeah.
them loose,
Part ways, yeah.
because that's what I think a lot of people are always afraid of, especially in businesses, is like they're afraid to cut the weight of the negative that stops the business from growing, and
Yeah.
I think it does cause a big factor in all of it. Just socially, yeah, just stay away from people who are negative. Try not to bring them in your circle and all these things. And just one last thing is, if you have time to meme and time to make memes, maybe just stop and enjoy that fresh air, read a book, You know, you don't have to be memeing and pleasing everyone on the internet, even though I do like to read them sometimes. It's just like you got to take a break. You know, life isn't all about memes and memes. You know, there's more to life than the Bernie Sanders meme. You know.
Right. Well, unless it's making you profit,
Hmm.
I don't see I don't get the where likes has become currency.
That's what it is.
I think
Facebook.
it's attention. It's a feminine attribute, but it's a lower feminine attribute for to seek attention. And especially, we didn't even dive into that. That's a whole nother how beta males just took over and they want attention like females and stuff like that. That's a whole nother topic for discussion. But if you're seeking attention, I would say do it the old-fashioned way, quote unquote, so to speak. Us as men, especially upright men, we marvel in our work. After we build this building, then the building's going to get all the attention that it needs. But see, the problem is we want the attention before we build the building, and it's quick, fast, and easy, and it's never satisfying. It's almost like fast food. It's better to go out and hunt your food, go out, pick your garden, grow it, cook it from organically, as opposed to going through a window and getting full. And it's going to temporarily satisfy you, but it's not going to feed the soul like if I was to hunt my own food, grow my own food, and cook it. Two different things.
Hmm.
And what we become almost like fast food, junkies as far as attention. We want to be fast attention junkies. We want to get the attention and the likes quickly. And it's not going to marvel. People are not going to marvel at it as long as as long as building your own company, as long as Apple. You think getting a couple of likes might satisfy you temporarily for like 5 minutes, but building a company like Apple is going to be long here after you're gone. Look at Steve Jobs.
Hmm. Yeah,
You see
that's
what I'm saying? Yeah, build something, and that's going to be everlasting. Like Tom Brady, build a legacy, build a dynasty, go to 10 Super Bowls. You see what I'm saying? Or
yeah,
like Drew Brees, go to be the number one most prolific and most accurate passer in NFL history.
yeah. And he
That's
had a good.
lifetime.
And no one talks about how much charity work he does for New Orleans either. Like he does a lot for that city.
Right. So build something
Hmm.
instead of doing memes. Maximize your 16. With that, we're gonna go ahead and leave it like that, man. I'm not even gonna promote. I want that to be the last thing on your mind. Maximize your 16. Y'all know where we're at. Again, don't forget that God is a verb. A personal responsibility is your only savior. And with that, I'm gonna say peace.
Peace, guys.
Let me get the yeah, All right, peace.